Welcome back to another episode of Get On Code. Today we have a fun little program we're going to test out. We're going to be building a little Python bot. Once our Python bot is built, we'll use Telegram to send messages. And after each message, a little dog would appear. Yeah, I know. So before we begin, we need to set up our Telegram account and we need to register our security token. So, check me out. In order to register your token, which we will need for our Telegram bot, you need to go to the BotFather website. You can follow the directions that they have provided on their website to download the BotFather Telegram program and to create your token. We will need to do this before we create our Telegram bot. So first we're going to install our Python Telegram bot. You can see I already have it in the field right here. Just really quick, we're going to run that. While that's running, as you can tell, we already installed. I just installed it earlier. So the next thing we want to do after installing our Python Telegram bot is we want to actually install the Telegram bot libraries. So we can do that with some quick import statements. Telegram. We're also going to import the updater, which will give us update our search results, and the command handler. We want to use request, and of course we're going to use regex expressions. Okay, so next, after we have our import statements, we need to actually get our contents that we're going to requesting. So for this, there's a JSON API that we're going to be getting our information from and retrieving. So we created a contents variable, and we have the link right here, the random.dog, to the actual JSON, and we are actually having that being our JSON object. So next, we need to actually have a image URL, which we're going to actually put our content object in. So just as easily, we create image URL, which we've done in previous tense, and we are going to create a array of URL. So next we need to go ahead and create our URL function. We need this to access the API and get the URL. So let's go ahead and define get URL, and we need our contents as well. Basically, we're going to be taking our earlier variables and using them as parameters. That we used before, and then we're going to add a little return statement just to return URL. Created that function, and now we're going to create a bop function. The bop function is the actual button you will press, or the message you will text. You will put into the Telegram that actually sends the pictures. So to send a picture / image, we need two parameters. We need the image URL and we need the recipient's ID. This can be either a group ID or user ID. It depends on your cloud infrastructure. We can get the image URL by calling our get URL function. Okay, so let's now create the bop function. So bop, taking our two parameters, bot update, then we're gonna have our URL to be getting or get URL. We're going to call our function. Then we're going to create a chat ID, and this will update the image or the message. I'm sorry. This will update the message ID. And then bot send photo. And we're going to send a chat ID. Only when it is true. So chat ID is equal to chat ID. And we're going to send the photo's URL. Finally, we're going to create a method to update Telegram with security key. You will create a function to run our main program. Well, it's called main. And you will use your token with a token that we generated earlier in the Telegram setup tutorial. So first, let's create our main function. Main. Okay, so now we're going to set our updater with our token. Now, I'm actually not going to provide a token here, but your token here. And next we will set our dispatch app variable. So updater dot dispatcher. And we're gonna add a way to handle it. So add handler. And now we're going to use our command handler. And bop is what we will use to send our commands. Plus the bop word and bop variable. Then we'll finally use the updater to start our polling. And only if it's idle, so we're going to set it to be an updater. Will only update if it's not idle. So if name is equivalent to main, run main. Then we're just gonna run it. Telegram setup, and we have our bot set up. Let's go ahead and run our program. We're using Colab. We're gonna run all the selected. As usual, we already have our Python Telegram bot installed. And okay, so right now it is waiting for me to send messages. So I'm going to start my bot. And I'm going to send the command that we created. \bop. It should return with a picture of a dog, which it just did. Okay, so let's try it again for testing purposes. And it works. So our bot is up and running and collecting pictures of dogs. Okay, so now we have our Python bot up and running. We can start using fun ways to automate tasks. Show me some creative ideas in the comment section, man. Now, to wrap up, we did a few things. First, we created our Telegram account and security token. Next, we created our Python bot. We then used the Python bot to send messages over the Telegram server. Then, we created and retrieved our dog images from the dog API that we accessed. So that's it. Not too hard, right? As usual, this is your chance to learn some new stuff. Now, go make something cool.